Hi, I'm Don O'Rourke, the Chairman of Consolidated Properties Group, and I have the pleasure of having my good friend and also Chairman of Hutchinson Builders, Scott Hutchinson, with me. Scott, the Hutchie story, maybe you can just tell us how long you've been around for, what's the current workbook, what's the balance sheet look like, so people just get a bit of an idea about Hutchies, and I suppose how many people you got working for you too.
Well, we started off by my great-grandfather in 1912. We turn over $2.8 billion this financial year. We've got 1,755 direct employees, but 14,000 people work on our sites every day. We've got a balance sheet of $350 million, and we don't take any dividends to talk of out. We take a little bit, but nothing like the money that comes in. So everything we do at Hutchies is long term, and our average tenure of people at Hutchies is 16 years. Mm-hmm. So our staff are long term as well.
So you're well capitalised, been around forever. I really like the message about people who've worked for you for a long time, because it indicates stability and continuing company memory as well too. So
yes.
So we've been around for 40 years. This is our 40th anniversary. 35 of those years we've been exclusively in an arrangement with you for construction. Do you want to just give me a bit of an indication from your side how you think the two teams work together?
The two teams work very well together. You, in many ways, have taught us how to do developers' work and how to do it with a long-term view. You work with us, not trying to trick us, and we work together to try and get a great outcome for the project and for the purchasers.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my view on that is, as you say, the teams get together right from the beginning on a project, and they're obviously there till the project's finished, and then after the defects period, and then the thing I really like is you'll come back even after the defects period and fix things up. It's a great thing for us to have when we're dealing with our buyers and our tenants.
Well, you've been giving us work for 35 years. If you've got a problem after 10 and you need us to help out, we're going to be there to fix things up. Not that there has ever been that, but if there was, we'd be there.
Yeah. And looking again from our side, we're happy to pay $1 for $1 worth of work. We want to make sure your teams have got enough time to do the job properly, and we want to be the informed clients. We want to give you good materials so you get good outcomes.
And that's exactly the feedback I get from the teams. These people are serious and want to do a good job.
Yeah. I suppose then that sort of logically leads to the next 40 years, or in your instance, the next 100 years. I mean, it's certainly Consprop's intention to work with you in exactly the same arrangement for the next 40 years, which will be long after I leave Consprop, obviously.
And the long after I'm dead as well. But I've got a son coming in to the business next month. He's getting back from London Business School, and he will be indoctrinated in this long-term view as well. So again, we hope the next 40 years with Consolidated is like the last 40. And we hope the 107 years and the next 107 years we're together as well.
Yeah, so it's interesting, Jack is going to take over the company at around about the same age you stepped into your father's shoes, isn't it?
Well, he's coming. Yeah, he's coming into the company. He won't take over straight away. Yes, I started working full time there at 26, and he's coming in at 27. Yeah, it's quite a different company that he's coming into, and he's being trained to be chairman, not managing director. Once a business gets to a certain size, you've got to get your CEO from tens of thousands of people, not your 4 kids. Yeah. But he will be good at doing my job. It's ceremonial, but the final responsibility lies with me, and it will lie with him.
Yeah. And look, you always say it's ceremonial, but I like to remind everyone that when Scott took over the business, it was turning over less than 10 million.
Yes.
It's now turning over 3 billion. So, I always like to sort of say, Scott, under your hand, this business has grown very, very significantly.
It has, but our CEO, Greg Quinn, has had a lot to do with that, and he's been there since 2001, and I've been chairman since then. Yeah, we've had a fantastic managing director and team under him.
Yeah, very true, and I guess that reflects all the way down through the ranks too. You've had good people that have been with you for a long period of time. Scott, one of the other things we really like about dealing with Hutchies is our projects are done all along the eastern seaboard, and wherever we go, there's always a Hutchies presence. Can you just tell me how many offices and teams you're running and where they are located now?
We've got 17 offices and 37 teams. I'll have a go at the geography if you'd like me to. Cairns, Townsville, Rockhampton, Toowoomba, Sunshine Coast, Brisbane, Southport, Tweed, Sydney, Newcastle, Melbourne, Adelaide, Hobart, Geelong, and Darwin.
Yep. So you cover everywhere except the world's most remote city, Perth.
Yes, we do. We've got no geographical expansion plans and no turnover expansion plans. We just want to keep on going and do a good job. So we've got no ambition in any way to be any different than what we are now.
And look, that's reassuring because you see companies that want to expand internationally, like as we saw Lang O'Rourke and those sorts of groups come in from Europe and blow themselves up essentially. Yes. It's really good to hear that you want to do a good job, not be the biggest builder in the world.
No, we've done a job in 2 jobs in Canada. We've done a job in New Zealand and a job in Japan, and we looked at it and said, there's no serious reason for us to have a permanent presence here, and we've come home. So not after a bad experience, they've all been good experiences, but we have no ego at Hutchies about where we should be.
Yeah. One of the other things I really like as well is that some of our repeat clients like Woolworths and Coles, where we've done 40 odd centres, your business has multiple relationships with those companies as well too, so they use you in their own right as a builder, as well as a builder for us in the tenant relationship.
Yes, and we do very, very small jobs. We do $10,000 jobs and we do $500 million jobs, and we operate in all areas, and we'll do small fit outs and we'll do fit outs for Woolies, and then we'll do the main building for you as well, which works very well.
Yeah. One of the other stories I really like about Coles particularly was in the 2011 floods. Their store went underwater at Belbarry, and you, without a contract, just got in and on the basis of a phone call went and helped them out.
Yes, we have a strong relationship with both Woolworths and Coles, and we own a Woolworths store and a Coles store, so we're their landlords as well. And we've never had any problem with double and triple relationships. It's just simple as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, and I think with all these things, so long as everyone knows that there are other relationships, those issues can be managed effectively and really positively, because of the amount of experience you've got building them as we have developing them.
Yes, we know we've got to be competitive, very competitive to win their jobs, and we'd never try and use another relationship as leverage to get one of those.
One of the questions we are always asked is, how do we set a fair price between us and you for a job where we're not going out for tender? My response to that is simply that the two teams work out what it should cost, and that decision is validated by the quantity surveyor that generally the financier appoints, and everyone should be happy that that's been an educated, well thought out process to reach a price. That seems to be a bit of a unique process in contracting.
We've never left the tender market. We still win a lot of our work by tender, but you find modern developers, and I believe you pioneered this, in negotiating directly with a builder and finding out all the problems or the savings that can be got early on. We work completely open book with you, and you have cost consultants and quantity surveyors look over that. We've got absolutely nothing to hide, and it works really well. And I think other developers have started to follow your lead there.
Yeah. And look, the other part of that also is just understanding the risks. So when we sit down, you and I both clearly know which risks Hutchie's taking and which risks are identified that Hutchie's isn't taking, or we're doing some risk sharing. I think that transparent process works really well.
It works very well, and it makes for a much more comfortable project.
Yeah, and our financiers love the fact that Hutchie's $350 million balance sheet and its competency are backing up the promises.
Yes, they are backing up the promises, but we never use that to try and get extra money for our work. We're still in the tender market and pretty much make the same money out of our tender jobs as we do negotiated, and I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah, and the same data is used for pricing each of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Scott, well, seeing as I was the founder of Consolidated Properties Group, were you the founder of Hutchie's?
No, I'm not 107 years old. I feel it sometimes, but no, it was my
You're looking at today.
Yeah, I'll look worse in 2 weeks' time. It was my great-grandfather that started Hutchie's, and we're 107 years old today. Yeah. I'm surprised how many people ask me, is it my father that started it?
Can't do the maths.
He'd have to be 130.
And look, I guess the last thing I want to sort of close on is not the building relationship, but what you've done for Brisbane in terms of the music scene.
Yeah.
So 2 venues now, you've got...
Yeah, we've got Trifford, which has an 800 capacity, and we've got a Fortitude Music Hall, which has about 4,000 capacity. Both of them are non-commercial. They're purely done to make Brisbane a better place and support the music industry, and it really does need this sort of commercial support.
Yeah, and Big Sound is just about to start, which has been something you've got behind a few years ago.
I'm the
Patron.
I'm the patron of Q Music, which runs Big Sound, and I'm very proud of that. I didn't see that coming, that they'd make me that, and there was a rock star as patron before me, so I'm extremely proud to be their patron.
So not 2 rock stars?
No, it was Robert Forster,
right,
which is from the Go-Betweens. Yeah. So I was honoured to get that, and I'll support Q Music wherever I can.
Yeah, well done, Scott, and thank you for coming, spending some time with me today.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Tom.